Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is the Black Audacity, the Life Giver, Womb Keeper. This is a beautiful Wednesday morning. Hello, everyone. Hello, Scarred Beauty. Hello, Sleepy B. Hello, Saf Productions. Hello, Shar Willie. Hello, everyone. Please do me a favor and hit that like button. Make sure that you're hitting the like button. Your girl appreciates it. It helps with the algorithm to bring people to the channel and let everybody know that we're live and we're here. So, just one second. So we're gonna get started on today's topic. It's pretty much a trending topic right now about the Tyre Nichols case and Jason Fatnick and his comments on Black women and single mothers and the role that he is saying that they played in the beating, unaliving of Tyre Nichols. Although no video has showed any Black women being there, apparently we are to blame. Black women and Black single mothers specifically are to blame for the unaliving of Tyre Nichols. Although, again, Black women were not there, they were not present. And actually, the chief of police for the Memphis Police Department is a married single mother, a married Black woman who is not a single mother. But apparently, because Jason Fatnick was raised by a single mother, he believes that all women are single mothers. So we'll get started on today's video. Jason Fatnick is was an ex NFL player who didn't do so well. That's why really nobody knows him as far as his NFL career goes. And because he gained about 150 pounds, he couldn't do anything relating to sports anymore. So he's found an easier career by sitting on his fat butt and um and getting on syndicated news stations and belittling Black women and showing just how much of an idiot and a degenerate he is, and by also continuing on Black Manosphere talking points that have just really made the world, if they didn't know how degenerate these men are, they have literally removed all doubt of their degeneracy and how slow and cognitively delayed they are. Good morning, Armia Bento. Good morning. I just want Black men to continue to talk and publicly humiliate themselves. They're doing a great job at it without even realizing it. Absolutely. And that's the reason why I have started a petition, which after some of the videos I show, I'm going to show my petition, because I would love for everyone to sign and share my petition so that Black men's voices are able to be heard more, because we as Black women are going to do what Black men have said we haven't been doing, which is we're going to be their biggest advocate and making sure that their voices are heard, and that the information that they want the world to know about them is spread out more, and that we're sharing it, and that we're making sure that Black men's voices are heard. At the end, again, I'm going to read my petition, and I ask that everyone sign and share it. It's on my community page, just in case and just in case some of you ladies haven't seen it. Scared Beauty says, I died watching that with my mom. She was like, well, damn, single mothers, what the F do I have to do with this? I was in bed. My mom is slowly learning the truth about the dust bags. Yeah, your mom, she may be like my mom, probably in the baby boomers generation. So a lot of them, because of their socialization, on basically they were socialized to always look at white supremacy and ignore the degeneracy within the actual males within the community, a lot of what was going on, they just completely ignored it. Tucker Carlson looked at Jason Whitlock like the fool he is. Yeah, everybody did. Everybody was like, wow, what an idiot. What a complete degenerate this is on the stage. I think Tucker Carlson was like, oh shoot. When he heard Jason Fatneck say what he said, I think he sort of was like, he didn't even want the interview to continue. He was just like, okay, thank you. That's a perspective that I never even thought of. Like, guys, get this idiot off my stage. I do not like they bring up black women for everything. It could rain outside and it's black women's fault. But you know what, Sad Productions? I'm glad that they are continuing to just let their voices be heard, because so many people have felt so sorry for them and believe that they were actually the biggest victims in this 500-year victim marathon, to where now they are showing that they are actually the biggest culprits in their victimhood marathon. So, just let them keep talking. But I'm going to get to the video that I would like to show. We're going to just first show his video. I know it's going to be hard to sit and look at his face. If you need to, just watch the video. Just don't watch it and just listen to the volume, so you're not scared by the look of Jason Fatneck, because he literally looks like he is going to cardiac arrest very soon. And it wouldn't surprise me if he was actually in dialysis right now, or if he was if he was taking hold on, if he was taking like heparin or other medication to help prevent blood clots, because he is a very, very morbidly obese man who literally, I think that his whole issue with black women is the fact that nobody in their right mind would even give him the time of day, no black woman. So he's upset about that. So let's get to this video that he spoke about. And again, this is a man who was literally raised by a single mother after his degenerate, dusty father, who was addicted to gambling, left the family. His mother was married to his father for 8 years, but because he was gambling up all the money and paying for strippers and prostitutes, supposedly, and he may have even had a crack habit, that wouldn't surprise me. Again, that's allegedly. The mother had to take her two sons and escape from him because he was causing such havoc, wreaking such havoc within their family. So I guess Jason Whitlock, who ended up being a D-list NFL player, was upset at his mom for staying there and raising him. Maybe she should have given him to his um, maybe she should have given him to his what was his dad addicted to? It was so many things, I think. But primarily he was addicted to gambling. Maybe she should have given him to his father, who was addicted to gambling, so that he could be raised in crap spots and in prostitution, in those prostitution homes. I forgot what they were called back in the day, but maybe she should have given him to him. I think at this point, black women, these men are crying and sobbing all over the internet, saying that they want to be with their dads. And I believe that if you don't have the heart to just not give birth to them, that when you do have them, make all try as best as you can to just give them to their dads. Let them have them, relinquish custody and go on about your business, and see in the next 20 or 30 years how those men turn out. So we're going to watch the video. Unfortunately, we have to stomach this Jason Whitlock's face during this video. Otherwise, like I said, just turn your screen on dark and just listen to the degeneracy coming out of his mouth, so that you don't have to be disgusted and have and have a vomit bag near you so you don't have to look at his face. So Tea Time says these males had worn out the white supremacy, oppression, slavery, school to prison pipeline train. Now they have to find another scapegoat. And guess who's up next? Black women, yay! Yeah, we're up in line. It's come our turn to be blamed for all of their complete degeneracy. And we know that now that they've found out about passports and they're starting to claim, air quotes, claim that they're going overseas, the next people that will be blamed for their degeneracy will be their foreign wives. So let's get to the video. I'm going to share my screen. And again, everybody make sure that you are hitting the like button. Make sure that you're hitting the like button. Again, I'm going to apologize beforehand that you have to look at this disgusting face, but again, you can just turn your head and just listen so you don't have to be disgusted by him. Here we go. Let's listen to what he had to say.
By a single black woman.
Oh, wait.
And that's what
Rewind
they
it.
It's a
Okay.
story about young black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way. Everybody involved in this on the street level was either 24 to 32 years old. Everybody. It was a group of young black men, 5-on-1. Looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do.
So right there, when he said this is just another example of black men's inability to treat other black men as humans, he could have literally like left it at that, because that is pretty obvious to everyone that black men don't know how to treat anybody as humane, not other black men, not black women, not black children, not black cats, not black dogs, not anything that is black. And I mean, they don't treat anybody that's not black like they're humane either, but they are definitely not going to treat anybody within the black community like they're humane. So he could have literally just left it at that, and that would have been, that would have been enough for him to just leave it at that. But of course, because he is also part of, not only is he part of the conservative party, which is fine because I think conservatism is a good thing. But not only was he trying to lick up into the rectum of um, Tucker Carlson by thinking that throwing black women under the bus was going to make him look good, he didn't want to offend his black male manosphere. He didn't want to offend the men in that group, so he had to not only talk about how black men didn't know how to treat other black men as humane, he had to bring up why they didn't know how to, which, in the black manosphere, it has to be somebody else to blame, because accountability is like poison to black men in the black manosphere, or black men in general, but it's like poison to them. So he had to bring up the reason as to why they behave like this. Because black men can't just say, we behave like this because we are complete degenerates and we have no self control. We lack impulse control. We lack emotional intelligence. So in order for them to not just take accountability and have autonomy over their own actions, they have to shift blame to someone else. B1 support channel says, I want them to speak, but their voices are annoying. No, I want them to continue to speak, because we're going to get to my actual petition at the end of this. Armia says, Armia says, I think the mother should include Jason Whitlock to the lawsuit too, since he blamed her for her son's death on national TV. That's a good one. I don't think too many people even realize um, that Tyre Nichols' mother, he could have possibly also been assaulting her. Although I think that Tyre Nichols' father or his stepfather is involved in his life, but that could have definitely been a slight at Tyre Nichols' mother. So she should definitely look into taking legal action against him. Right? They cannot hold their L. They'll never be able to hold their L. So let's because if they did, then I mean the world already knows that they're an L within itself, but they can't admit it because if they did admit that, then they would admit that they're just a conquered group and who have no plans on how to get out of the stupor that they're in. Let's continue listening to this. And again, I'm sorry that you have to see his face.
when they're supervised by a single black woman. And that's what they got going on in the Memphis Police Department. They've elected some or put some black woman in charge of the police force. This is a story about police force, and we're getting the same kind of chaos and disunity and violence that we see in a lot of these cities that are run by single mothers. If we want to discuss the breakdown of family that leads to disrespect for authority, that causes you to resist the police and run from the police and not comply with the police because you resist authority at all time because there was no male authority in your home, let's have that discussion. But that's not where they want to take us. They want to take us down the path of saying, you know what, this is Tucker Carlson's fault. This is some random this is Donald Trump's fault. It's not police force. The story
Okay,
about
so
young
okay, so again, he wanted to lick into the rectum of Tucker Carlson by I don't know why he included Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump into this into this conversation because who was saying that it was either one of their faults? So that was just his way of kissing Tucker Carlson's butt by making it seem like black people were at some for some reason we're going to blame Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump for this situation when black people said nothing about them. Um, I'm going to I'm going to share my link, but I do have a couple more things that I want to share before people start coming up. But I'll share my link for anybody who wants to come up and wants to has something to say in regards to Jason Fatnick and his whole um let me see his whole blaming of black women and black single mothers for the actions of adult men five adult men who have been literally let me show these men. These are the men, five adult black males who were literally vetted by the Memphis Police Department. These men on the screen. Five adult black males who were vetted by the Memphis Police Department. These are them who were vetted by the Memphis Police Department. But for some reason, the police department felt that, I don't know if maybe they didn't check and see if these men were fatherless children. But they felt that these men had the capability of serving the citizens of Memphis, but somehow it is the police chief's fault that these men turned out to be just as degenerate as the men who are on the corners, street corners, selling drugs and robbing old ladies. But wait, black men feel like black women. I think, to be honest, the reason that Jason Fatneck and a lot of black men are mad at the police chief is more so the fact that it is a black woman who has authority over black men. I don't think it has anything to do with her being a single mother. I think that that was just a reason that he wanted to make up as to why this woman should be blamed because he can't just it's easier to throw shots and darts at black women and specifically black single mothers than it is to just say, hey, we don't want a black woman at all being over black men because we feel like we can we can do it ourselves, even though they have shown zero leadership responsibilities. They have never shown any capability of leading anything. But I think that he is more so upset, as well as a lot of the protesters, that there is a black woman chief that has the nerves to be the head of a police department that has black male officers, as well as she has the nerve of arresting and having these officers charged for hurting another black man. I don't think that they're mad at her being possibly being a single mother, because they know she's not a single mother. I think they're mad at the fact that she's a black woman and she's over black men. And a lot of black mammy rangers, meaning the women who are in alignment with the black manosphere and the black manosphere, are completely against black women having any type of leadership positions, even though black men have shown no no type of ability to lead anything. So I want to show a couple more videos, and then I'm going to have everybody see my exactly scarred beauty. Her existence alone, being a black woman leading a police force of black men, has upset most black men to their core, because it's not that she possibly is a single mother, it's not the black women in the world that are single mothers, it's the fact that they saw a black woman get on the news and say that this was disgusting and I'm going to charge these officers. How dare she, as a black woman, think that she has the ability to control black men? And that is what the whole argument is. They're upset because there is a black woman over that department, and she had the audacity to go and charge these black men, to go and first and foremost fire them and then have them charged. How dare she do that? I don't think that it has anything to do with anything other than that. They're just upset that they saw a black woman on the news with the wherewithal to have black men fired from their position and charged. And black men hate that. They just hate it. Anytime they see a black woman who is educated, a black woman who is in a leadership position, they are so angry. It just boils their blood. So I think that is first and foremost the things that they are so upset about. Teton said exactly, if the chief was a black male, he would have never brought into the conversation. If it was a black male, they would have said, he is excellent. Look at the leadership quality that he has. Look at how he got these officers under control and got them fired right away. They would have been applauding him, and they would have been standing by him and said that he was doing a great job. Yes. B1 support channel says, I heard black women on social say black women should have given those jobs to black men. Given what jobs to black men? All the people that were employed that are part of this case are black men, except the chief. Because and she got the job because she has the experience. Remember, black men don't want to go to college. Remember, black men don't believe in education. So in a white man's patriarchal world, he sets the rules, and he said you have to be educated and you have to have so much experience to get a job. And since they don't want to do that, too bad they can't get the job. Um, Correct. Black men seem to abuse their power if given. Have we all not seen the biopics when black men make movies about being harassed and beaten by police? Who do they show is the race of the police officers that are harassing and beating them? Did we not see the NWA biopic that they made? The accounts were given by the black men in the group NWA. And in that movie, they showed a black officer with his white partner that were continuously harassing them, stopping them, frisking them. And they showed the white officer was a lot nicer to them than the black officer was. The black officer was beating them up, was calling them the N-word, sticking his gun in their face, and telling them that they would have to be watching, that he was going to be watching every move that they made. Same thing in the movie Boys in the Hood. Even though I know that that is fictional, it was a black man who made that movie, and by all accounts, he gave the accounts of what black men had been saying in the 80s, that they were getting stopped by black cops who were harassing them, sticking guns in their face, threatening them, beating them up, taking their drugs, taking their money. So this isn't something new within the black community. Black male officers in particular have been harassing and beating up black people in the community. They get a little bit of power and they show they ass, and that's just what it is because they have no power. So when they get some, they want to make it known that they the big mans, they the head niggas in charge. And it's been like that since day one. Armia says nothing is ever their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. Black women, the system, absolutely no accountability. And it never will. They will never have accountability. The hierarchy position, sorry. No, I understood what you meant. Scar Beauty said, like the counselor, she couldn't express her opinion without mammy rangers and dust bags coming for her, even though she sees this shit every day. She goes to work. Um, yes, the late 80s, early 90s. B1 support channel says I forgot that. Should rewatch that movie. Going back to what you said, Scarred Beauty, I'm a psych nurse and I work in an emergency department where black, well, where all races of people, but being that I work in a predominantly black neighborhood, I mainly see black people. I mainly, out of the black people, I see more black males than black females. They are some of the most and I say this with all due respect, I'm not at work and I won't say too much, but black men have a lot of mental health slash behavior health issues, and I'll just leave it at that. They have a lot of it. They have a lot of um things that they need to get therapy and counseling for that they refuse to do so, and it's really sad that that licensed therapist on TikTok who was telling the truth that you dudes need to get therapy. And they decided instead of just going to get therapy and taking that advice, that they were going to have this woman's job taken. And like you said, it was a mammy ranger that did it. It was a mammy ranger who made a newspaper article on a nationals on a syndicated newspaper. I'm not syndicated, but on she made a newspaper article on in some newspaper. I'm not for sure what it was, but she's the person who got this black woman's job taken, and she was the one who in her newspaper article made it seem like this black woman was degrading and belittling black men, and instead of looking at the bigger picture that these men actually do need help and do need therapy and do need counseling and do need not just short-term counseling but long-term counseling and maybe medication, they decided that talk to our kings like that, tell them what they need. You a black woman, you can't tell them nothing. If it had it been a white woman who said, hey, you guys need counseling, had it been anybody, I won't even say a white woman, had it been anybody who said these black men need counseling, they would have taken it to they would have listened, and they would have taken it a lot more easier than they did with this black woman. Black men have an inner hate for black women that at some point is going to be have to be addressed nationally, um, because black women just won't leave these group of men alone. So is if you don't see it addressed, it's going to be so much more femicide and matricide because they are starting to unalive their mothers, as well as the women in the communities at such a high rate. Eventually, economists, sociologists, not economists, but more so sociologists and psychologists are going to are going to look deeper into this situation. So I'm going to share my screen again. And this is about the fatherless men, because this is one thing we're going to stop calling them that they were raised by single mothers and start telling the truth. They are fatherless men because their fathers left. It is not the mother who stayed's fault that their father left. These are men who are fatherless children turned to adults, and they have taken it upon themselves not to seek the counseling that they need, and not just because of them lacking of a father, because this was happening when they had fathers. So it's a lot more to the story, but at this point, Black women have suffered through the exact same thing that Black men have suffered through. And nobody gives us a benefit of a doubt. Everybody believes Black women are never able to say, I have terrible relationship skills because I didn't have a father. Or, I don't know how to communicate well with the opposite sex. Um, or maybe I am, for some women who have been, I am promiscuous because I am looking and searching for love because I didn't have a father around. Nobody cares about it. Nobody wants to hear the pain and the suffering that Black women have went through. Black women are just supposed to get over it, figure it out, and come to a relationship with no pain, with no baggage, with no skeletons. We're supposed to be perfect, and nobody cares that we didn't have a father. So, but everybody gives Black men the benefit of the doubt. They're coddled and babied because they went through slavery and they went through Jim Crow and they went through not having a father in the home. Oh, before they did have a father in their home, but he was broke and he was poor. And and then Black women got on welfare and their fathers, because they couldn't get jobs to feed them and to support a family, Black women became single mothers. And it's on and on and on. Black women have so many excuses that they're allowed to have, and Black women aren't allowed to have any excuses. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Black women, we need to start caring for ourselves and let these men figure out all the issues that they have and figure out how they need to get over it. So, when you go on, the interesting thing is when you go on the internet and look up Black boys and their mothers, there are so many videos that are trying to teach Black women how to deal with with being a single mother to their boys. I mean, there is hundreds of them. I'm going to go to that. I'm going to just show you guys the hundreds of videos of Black mothers and how they need to be better and how they need to do better with their boys. Message to single moms, advice to single mothers. Teacher tells Black single moms why single mothers cannot raise boys. 9 tips for single moms. The damaging effects of young Black men raised by single mothers. Black men that grow with single mothers. I mean, it's just hundreds. You can go through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these videos of Black women being taught how to be better mothers to their boys. Correct. What is the purpose of having a father? You won't know if you ever had one. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on the internet trying to teach Black women how to be better equipped to be a mother, a single mother to a son. Yet, I didn't see any videos dedicated to telling Black men to be better fathers, to not run from their responsibility, to not create families that they don't intend on staying with. Isn't that ironic? Armia Armia says they've practically written Black women and children out of slavery and Jim Crow. You think we weren't there? The way they tell the story, it's all about Black men and what happened to them. Yes, it's all about slavery. Might as well be like the Black man's plight, because they act like it wasn't Black women right in the fields with them even after giving birth, carrying their children on their babies on their backs. And not only that, breastfeeding their the white woman's children as well and taking care of her children. Isn't that called patriarchy? Um, isn't just clarify for me, B1 support channel, what's called patriarchy. So again, black men, put a one in the channel if everybody can hear me, because my signal went out for a second. So I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. If you can hear me, please put a one in the chat so I can know that everybody hears me before I continue. Because I don't want to be talking to myself. Can everybody hear me? Put a one in the chat, please. Can everybody hear me? Okay, thanks everybody. So again, you have hundreds and hundreds of videos that are geared towards teaching black women to be mothers, to actually be mothers, single mothers to black boys. And you have no videos telling black men to be accountable and responsible for their families. How ironic and how degenerate is that? That you want to, that's letting everybody know who they intend to blame. They want you, black women, exactly, B1 support channel, telling black women what to do, but not black men. Yeah, that is patriarchy. That's patriarchy to want to be the leaders of giving directions, but it's not patriarchy because in patriarchy the men are actually supposed to be the leaders in actually doing, not just telling. These men aren't doing anything. Their actions aren't showing. It's not giving. They're not giving any actions. They're just on podcast, grown men on podcast telling women how they are supposed to be the backbone of an entire family without a father. But no one is telling men how they are supposed to stick around and be fathers to their children. We're gonna watch this one. We're gonna watch a couple videos, short videos. Um, let's go. I'm gonna show the first one is just a short video from David Banner talking to his message to single mothers with sons.
Y'all listen. I wanted to do a quick post for all my single mothers out there. I just had this conversation with one of my greatest friends, and I wanted to pass this on. For all the single mothers who have, a son, they raise their son by themselves. Once the son grows up and he starts to become a man, you gotta let him go. You have to allow him to make mistakes, and we just meditate and pray that our sons make the right decisions. But it's one thing that you can't do is teach a man how to be a man.
Okay, that's enough of that video. So he said one thing, a couple things. You got to let these boys go, because there is a lot of coddling within the black community. Because the black woman, for all that is worth, black women very much love their sons. They love their children in general, but they really really love their sons. But he said something that's correct. Let them go. Let them fly. Clip the wings. Stop trying to be. Stop trying to be their turn the childhood relationship into an adult relationship with them. A lot of mothers, and that's even the mothers that are married, they start having a very weird relationship with their sons. So he said, let the sons go. Can't teach your son how to be a man. The same thing that we've always heard. But more importantly, I wanted to get to the comments, because again, like I said, these men refuse to tell fathers to just stick around and be there for their children. They want to give all um these self-help books and make all these posts and these videos on how to teach black women how to be mothers to their sons alone. And they're not saying, hey, where are the fathers at? Hey, dads, why don't you chip in? Why don't you go and get your sons so that she won't have to coddle and baby them? Go get them. So a couple comments that stuck out to me. was this by this person, Nicholas Baker, right here. I'm gonna read it out loud in case you guys can't see it. He said, "My mom chose to be a single mother by divorcing my dad when I was 14. She caused so much damage as a result. Looking back, I needed my dad in my life every day and suffered from only seeing him every other weekend." So this fool said his mom divorced his dad when he was 14 and he's been damaged since he was 14. Since he was 14. First of all, because there was a lot of people it was several people who commented. Somebody said, real talk, real talk. And somebody said, why did you not live with your father? And he replied, because my mom had custody over me. She stayed at home. My dad worked full time and overtime. Somebody replied, you can ask to live with your dad at a certain age. Why don't you ask your mom why she has full custody? And then I replied, did your dad seek primary placement? Nobody, woman or man, is forced to stay in a relationship that they're not happy in. At age 14, you could have told the courts and or your parents that you would prefer to stay with your father. Y'all need to stop trying to blame your mothers for everything as if your grown fathers couldn't stand up for themselves. So this man said that at 14, his mama divorced his father. So his father was there in their home from age 0 until 14. And then after that, because his mother divorced his father, he is so damaged and he suffered greatly because his dad wasn't there. First of all, you're a grown ass man. And if you're suffering so much and if you're so damaged, first and foremost, go get yourself some counseling or some therapy. Secondly, why didn't your father seek out primary custody of his teenage son if you were so hurt by it? I mean, you had a relationship with him from the time you was 0 until you was 14. It wasn't a good enough relationship that you couldn't say, Dad, I would like to come stay with you. I'm pretty sure your mama wasn't stopping you from going to stay with your daddy at 14 years of age. But no, you said your daddy was working full time and overtime. So in that case, your dad didn't have time to spend with your little spoiled self. So he said, I don't have the time or the desire to want these children. I'm gonna let the person who's been the caretaker of them, which is your mama, have them, and I'm gonna keep doing what I've been doing, which is providing for them. Your mama didn't have to stay in a relationship with your daddy if she wasn't happy. And if you felt like at 14 that you wanted to be with your daddy and it was scarring you so bad, you are something is already wrong with you. If at 14 you are scarred because you can't see your daddy every single day and you can't just pick up a phone and say, Daddy, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to stay with you. So these men just make up excuses for their failures in life. And instead of just saying, hey, I'm a degenerate and I'm a failure and I can't get my stuff together, I'm going to find every single excuse as to why I can't be a better man. And I'm going to start, because white supremacy isn't really cutting it anymore. I'm just going to start blaming my mama. I'm just going to start blaming my mother. Another comment I wanted to read. Somebody said, my mother, Bryson the Ghost said, my mother abused the F out of me and talked down on me as a kid. I was mentally effed up because of that. Now, what I will say is I do speak to a lot of kids whose mother speak to them very harshly and they are affected by that. But what I will say, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree that if you are going through a time where it's just very hard for you because you are single and raising these kids and it's just really, mentally and emotionally draining. Try to take a step back, and try to find ways in which you can communicate with your kids better. I would say that to any race of woman. Don't, because verbal abuse and emotional abuse does affect people. Now, with that being said, grown men who can't figure out that there are ways to deal with abuse that you feel like you encountered, I don't have tolerance for you because you are an adult. You cannot use that as an excuse. Where was your daddy while your mother was abusing you? Where was he at to come and get you? Where is these daddies at? I mean, it's just like, do people not realize that black children have a father and a mother, that they're not made out of immaculate conception? Where are the fathers? Where are the fathers? I need to know. Every time that a kid is brought into my to that I'm assessing a black child, I want to, not every time, but I want to say a good 90% of the time there is no father there. Where are the fathers? Now, somebody says, same bro, I'm trying to disassociate with her. Well, then do so, sir. Get disassociate with her. If it's causing you that much stress and pain, disassociate with her. Make other associations. And I asked him right here, I said, did you get counseling or therapy when you became an adult? He never answered me. So I'm assuming that he didn't. I'm assuming that he did not get counseling. 14, not 4. Exactly. 14, not 4. They broke up when he was 14. So his mother stuck it out for 14 years. And then she decided, that it's time for me to go and do what's best for me. Because truth of the matter is, sticking together solely because of children is not mentally or emotionally good for the person that's sticking it out or the children. Because best believe, people who are in relationships that they don't want to be in exhibit their disdain for that relationship. It's not easy to just hide the fact that you are miserable in a relationship. So a lot of times, even women who are in a relationship with someone they don't want to be in a relationship with, they are yelling and screaming and mean to the children because they are in a situation that they don't want to be in. Y'all, people need to realize, these men in general need to realize that some of y'all daddies, majority of y'all daddies are hard to deal with. I'm just gonna say it is what it is. Y'all daddies are degenerate, they're cheaters, they're liars, and a lot of them are truly hard to deal with. Um, I'm gonna share one more video because I really want to get to my petition because I would really like everybody to sign it. I really want everybody to sign it. And this video is just a video. I'm not going to show the entire video. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to show just a message that this black man made to about his this no, actually I'm going to show this. Okay. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. It's not sharing what I wanted to share. Okay, I'm gonna share this video, and this is just another example of a black man talking about his relationship or none or lack thereof with his father. Because these fathers just aren't there. It's just the fact of the matter, they're not there. Okay.
He talked about how most of the players that he's coached don't have a father around.
So this is somebody talking about an actual team, professional team. This is Vlad TV, and I'm not hyping his channel up. I don't expect anybody to go and subscribe to his channel, but this is Vlad TV on his YouTube channel. Again, this is fair use, and he's talking to Lord Jamar, which is, I think he's a rapper from the 90s or something. And he's talking to him about the lack of fathers with the men and the boys that were in the men that were in professional teams.
Deep. Yeah. And he said that most of them are raised by their mothers, or more often their grandmothers, or sometimes an aunt and so forth. And he said, you have to have a father around. And he said, and he even made it, and he said this was kind of a joke, but he said, yeah, that's why most of them wear earrings. And he said, I'm just kind of, I'm joking about that. But, you know,
But subliminally,
that's actually kind of how he feels.
No, and it might be true.
Possibly. Possibly. Your ears are pierced, right?
I had this side pierced back in the days, but when you know, back then, once you got knowledge, they was like, nah, you got to take that earring shit out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you haven't had an earring in your ear in decades?
I had 2 in this ear.
Okay.
Back then, you couldn't go both ears like
that
because the right side meant you was gay.
Right.
Left side means
what was the term?
Good money.
They said left is right.
Basically.
And in the Black community, they always making up little stupid things to say that's supposed to be representative of somebody being in the LGBTQ community. If you get your earrings pierced, you're gay. If you got your hair too long, you gay. Just a bunch of dumb stuff. But let's continue.
Yeah, and right is left. And both is, was basically saying that you was bi or some shit like that.
Exactly. Whereas these days most certain types of people usually have 2 earrings.
Yeah. To do 2
in your household growing up, right?
No.
Okay, that's where I wanted to start at right there.
You had a father in your household growing up, right?
No.
You didn't?
No.
You just had your mother.
And my grandmother.
And your grandmother. How often was your father around?
Once in a while.
Once in a while meaning once a year?
It would depend on the year.
So sometimes a year would pass where you wouldn't see your father.
But no more than, I guess, 2 years.
How does a parent go 2 years without seeing their child? That's normal? 2 years without seeing your kid? Are you telling me that the mother wasn't allowing him to come and visit his kids but once every 2 years? Or was he just choosing not to come but once every 2 years? You just show up every 2 years to see your kids. And if the Black mother says, hey, this isn't conducive to my child being mentally and emotionally a well-rounded person because you are being emotionally abusive to them by only showing up every 2 years, and it's causing them to have trauma because they only see you every 2 years. If she said that, then people would say, the Mammy Rangers and the Dustbags would say, no, you was just trying to keep him from his kids. He was doing the best he could. He was being an involved, intact father by showing up every 2 years. And it was the Black mama that was keeping him away. The other 23 months that he wasn't showing up, he was trying to figure his life out. What type of parents show up once every 2 years?
That's a long time, I know.
Very long time.
But yeah.
So this is a conversation that I've been having with people where if you're raised just around women and women are more emotional than men, do you in turn...
And this whole notion that women are more emotional than men, women show a wider range of emotions. We can show being happy, being sad, being surprised, being upset, being joyful, being loved. We show a wider range of emotions, but men definitely show emotion. It just so happened to be that the emotions that they generally show are anger, like the Angry Bird that's on the YouTube. Are their emotions are generally anger, hostility, and they have a flat affect. If you've ever heard what affect just means the facial expression that you show. Men have, just like this guy, Lord Jamar right now is showing a very flat affect. That is an emotion. Men show emotion. The emotions that they show just so happen to be negative and nasty.
Grow up to be a man who's overly emotional?
Probably. You're going to have definitely elements of that
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of whoever you looked up to.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? They could look up to their fathers if they was there. If the fathers were there, they could look up to them. And I'm going to show just a couple more minutes of this because this is going to go into my petition that I want everybody to sign and share.
Do you feel that you're overly emotional because you didn't have your father around?
I think I used to be very emotional, especially when I was younger.
You had to grow out of it.
Yeah. I know my mom's had a short temper, and then I used to have a short temper. Me and all my brothers. You know what I mean? But see, that's a weird thing too, because we was all boys, so that was helpful though.
All your brothers, same father?
Yes.
How many?
There's 3 of us.
So it was 3 boys, and the father showed up every 2 years to see his 3 sons. Didn't care about them being raised to be productive men and society, for them to have morals and values, to carry on his legacy. Well, they were going to carry on his legacy, because the legacy that they would have learned from him is abandonment and degeneracy. So he didn't care about the upbringing of his 3 sons that he left with their mother. He was showing up once every 2 years to see these boys. And somehow that's her fault.
So your dad had 3 kids and then bounced out.
Well, see, it's weird. It's like he was with my mom's, and like, you know, they might have lived together when I was like 1 or some shit like that.
I'm the
oldest.
You're the oldest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, check this out.
Okay.
So now they, you know, she moved out or whatever, but they still married, and you know.
So she was a married single mother. A married single mother. Okay.
He would slide through, and here comes another one. She ended up having 2 kids with him without them even living together. You understand? And they have always been married. Like, they're married to this day. Like, they never got divorced.
But they were separated.
Yes. But
So,
not like on paper. They just haven't lived together since I was a kid.
So, okay, that's all I want to show about that. So this man came from a married couple, married on paper, a married single mother who continued to sleep with his father because they were married. His father would slide through, like he said slide through. His father was sliding through and getting her pregnant every so often. And even to this day, this man is in his 40s. His mother and father haven't been together since he was 1. He said, this man is in his 40s, but they are still legally married on paper. So a lot of this is especially from the baby boomers generation and the silent generation. A lot of these couples that are included on the census as being married, because I have an auntie that was married. Her husband just died 1 month ago. She was on paper as married to him ever since 1982. They have not been together since about 1985. So a lot of this married on paper within the Black community that is counted in the census as people that are married truly are people who haven't been together in years and years and years. These people have not been together in years, but they just never went and legally got a separation. So, and he is one of the children that are coming from what is considered a married family, but the father hasn't been there in years. If he wasn't supporting them emotionally and mentally, I can assure you he wasn't supporting them financially. But in Nichols' mind, the one who we saw that made the comments under David Banner's video, Nichols blamed his mother for leaving his father at 14. Even though a lot of these situations are just relationships that were never going to work out, and his mother just decided, she chose to actually go through a legal divorce and not do what Lord Jamar's mother has done, which is stay married to a man that she hasn't been with in 40 some years. But so we're going to go to my petition because black men have spoken. Black men have said that they cannot be trusted because they are raised by single mothers. And I think that their we need to take what they said into we need to be serious about what they've said. So I'm going to share my screen because I would like everybody to see my petition. I would like everybody to sign it, and I would like everyone to share it and give me any feedback on the petition because it may be something that I should have added to it because I can always edit it. So here it is. My petition on the wake of so many black men coming out and verbally stating that they are not capable of leadership because they were raised in fatherless homes. I am going to do something to help enable black men's voices to be heard and for people to take them seriously. And I believe that people should allow these men allow these men to speak their minds freely, and that people should start paying attention to what they're saying. So here's my petition, and what it says is, hello, my name is Black Audacity, and I am creating this petition because I believe in the human rights of black males. Black males have been loudly and repeatedly making their opinions known, and no one is listening. Black male voices have been silenced for too long, and that stops today. Today, as in January 31st, 2013. Black males have made the following things clear. And here's a list of what they've made clear. They do not feel they have the morals, values, knowledge, or standards that are necessary to hold managerial positions, political office, have good friendships or relationships, lack impulse control and emotional intelligence due to not having fathers in their homes. They parentheses, black males have been very verbal about their objection to having to be accountable for their actions unless they are placed under arrest, of course, or having any autonomy in their decision making. I believe it is absolutely the duty of everyone, especially black women, to oblige black males in their request to be allowed to be treated as uncivilized, poorly socialized, and indoctrinated grown male children. Goes on to say, with that being said, black males should be believed. We must believe what they are saying. Black males should be believed. Wait, I lost it. Okay. Black males should be believed that they are not mentally, emotionally, or psychologically capable of carrying out any position of leadership, authority, management, teaching, law enforcement, moral authority, including heads of sports teams and committees, team ownerships, coaches, quarterbacks, etc., and or are any position that requires them to be accountable. Because of this, I say again, believe black males. Do not place them in any of these roles in any capacity starting today, which was January 31st, 2023. If someone decides to place them in any of these positions that were listed above, they should be held accountable for the negative outcome it more than likely will bring. It's time to listen to black males and stop forcing them to be adults like other races of men because they have been very vocal that they aren't capable of doing so. The world is impacted with violence, poverty, and degeneracy when fatherless black males are forced to hold positions that they clearly state they aren't qualified for or mentally, emotionally capable of doing. Going forward, any Black male who was not raised 10 or more years of their childhood from age 0 to 18, I should say, with his biological father or one stepfather. That doesn't mean a multiple of stepfathers. One, because we do like stepfathers. So he has to be raised with his biological father or one stepfather. Should be, if he is not been raised in that manner, he should be disqualified from any of the above stated positions. Please sign this petition to ensure that Black males are heard and their wishes are made a reality. So, Black males have said, just so that I'm clear, so people don't mistake what I'm saying. Black males have gotten on the internet, they have gotten on social media, and they have now gotten on a syndicated news station and said that Black males that come out of fatherless homes should not be trusted to be in any leadership, managerial, or morally stable position. And I think that as Black women, because they always say that we're not backing them and their wishes, we need to sign this petition and back them so that the world knows that these men are just not capable of doing anything that requires leadership or managerial or moral standing. So I think everybody who is on here, please do me a favor. First, like the video, make sure that you're liking the video. And then secondly, make sure that you sign and share the petition. They never have anything bad to say about their absentee fathers. They're not going to say anything about their absentee fathers. But the thing is, they've made it be known that the absence of their father is the biggest issue. They don't want to say that I came from an absentee father home. They'll just say that I was raised by a single mother. But the issue is that the father wasn't there. Supposedly, that's why they're effeminized. That's why they are impulsive. That's why they are full of rage and anger. So, being that that 70 something percent of them come from fatherless homes, and no woman can guarantee that once she has a child with a Black male, such as in Lord Jamar's case, even if they're married, no woman can ensure that that man is going to stay there and be a father to his child. But what she can ensure is that she stop having children by him, unlike Lord Jamar's mom. Do not have any more children by him. And if you are able to, if it is a son, give the son to his father so that you are not the person who is going to be blamed for his degeneracy once he becomes a 32-year-old cop with a badge, or a 50-something-year-old fatnik like Jason jumping on a news station, and stating his disdain for single mothers, even though his father was a complete degenerate who left his single married mother to raise her and his brother. So everybody, please like and share the video, and make sure that you go to my page in my community section and sign and share the petition so that Black men are getting their voices heard, and everybody is helping Black men so that they are not put in these positions that they are verbally saying that they are incapable of doing. We don't want any Black police male chiefs. We don't want any Black males in political roles. We don't want any Black males as coaches. We don't want even any Black males as officers, because they have clearly said that they're incapable of doing these jobs because they're over emotional and they're full of rage because their fathers left them. Andrea says, I can't believe me and that Jason Hammock are from the same city. I mean, unfortunately, these men are international. They're not just in one place. They're not just in one city, one state, one town. They're all over the country, all over the world with their degenerate mindsets. And I say that we just keep letting them speak. You know, what was the saying goes? Once the people will think that you're an idiot, but once you start speaking, you remove all doubt. Just let them keep talking. I'm gonna have a video on Friday, and it's gonna be related to all the steps that Black women can take, Black girls and women from age birth all the way up and through adulthood, to prevent themselves from getting stuck in dystopia, or having a less likelihood of being stuck in dystopia. This dystopia with Quadarius and Daquans and all of them. So thank you again. Hit the like button and make sure that you go to my community tab on my page and that you sign the petition and share the petition so that it gets around, and continue to let Black men do what they do. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna end my live right now, and make sure that you hit the like button before you go out. Matter of fact, before I leave, I'm going to again share my link. If anybody wants to come up and has anything to say, either in support of what I'm doing, or if you got something to say against what I'm doing, you're more than um welcome to come up and share your opinion, because it's all good. I'm gonna give people a couple minutes. Anybody who wants to come up, feel free to do so. Other than that, make sure you're hitting the like button. Thank you. Thank you, Armia. Thank you for signing the petition. Thank you for signing the petition. All the men in the petition are just a group, just Black men that I found on the internet. Because their picture is public, I'm allowed to share it. So fair use is fair use to share it because it's on the internet and it's public. I don't know these people. I don't know the men in the picture. So, like I said, anybody who wants to come up, the link is in the chat. Other than that, I am gonna give a couple minutes for people to either come up, or I'm gonna end the live. Make sure everybody is hitting that like button though. Hit the like button. And like I said, just keep letting them talk. Keep letting them talk. Because at the end of the day, they just have words and we have actual stats. The stats are on our side. We are statistically doing better in school. We are being entrepreneurs. Char Willie is coming up. Okay. Let's see what she has to say. I'm going to stop sharing and allow her to come up. Hi, Char Willie. Hi, welcome to the Black Audacity channel. You're in this. You're live and you're on the screen.
Greetings. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I hope you're feeling better. I know you weren't feeling so well the other day when you were live.
Yeah, because I work in the health field, I'm always coming in contact with people that are sick, so it gets me sick a lot, but especially during the winter season. But I'm feeling a little bit better today. Thank you for asking. What you have
Okay.
to say about the video today? The
Um,
topic.
I find it extremely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You are hilarious. I love your humor. And I'm very thankful that your content was shared. So that made me subscribe after I checked you out. But I found I like the way you're doing it, um, because you're not a person to argue. And that's how I am. I believe in giving people what they want. And with your petition, you've done the same thing. You've given people what they want. If they're saying, hey, I can't do this, I can't do that, it's her fault because it puts me in this situation, blase, blase. Well, you win. And that's what you're doing in your petition. So keep
Exactly.
going, sister.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Char Willie. And that's my whole agenda to help them get the message out that they've already been trying to spread. They've already been saying we are incapable of being um morally or value we are incapable of having morals and values. We are incapable of having impulse control. We are incapable of being emotionally intelligent. We lack leadership abilities because we don't have fathers. So if you're saying that, we can't change the fact that you were raised without a father, but we can adhere to the fact that you're saying that you're incapable of being the type of men that other races of men are held to a moral grounds to be. So because you're saying you're incapable of doing that, everybody should do black men a favor of stop expecting them to be the men that they say they can't be. So I'm on their side. They can't do it, so stop putting them in positions that require them to be men when they were saying that they can't be.
And when it comes down to the conversation about traveling, again, don't argue with people. They have the right to do what it is they want to do. Um, Now, I will say I would have liked to hear some conversations in the space when I was very active here about guys' fathers, but I've never really heard any guy talk about their father. When I think about I'm going back 7 years, I do not recall many guys talking about their fathers. Very few, and it's a very small number. Maybe they'll say, I went on a fishing trip with my dad and I caught something. That's it. I mean, you just don't hear a lot. You don't hear where their dad taking them for their first haircut, or pitch balls to them in school, in the park or anything. And so, without even saying that, you're actually telling what's going on. A lot of the guys' fathers weren't there. Now, I would examine, nothing wrong with that, examining why that is. Now, it can't be she just don't like him. She liked him enough to have sex with him, and then after that, I don't like you anymore. Get away from me. That
Right.
just doesn't make any sense. But if that's what people want to say, again, you have the right to believe and say whatever it is you want. Now, when you don't find the support there, then you may want to look at what you're saying.
Yeah, because you're right. Even when I was raising my son, which I'm married, but I was raising my son and going to he's an adult now, but like going to his basketball games, going to taking him to the Barbara, you mainly saw sons in there with their mothers at the Barbara, at basketball games, at their sports games, at school PTA meetings. It was mainly the mothers, and like you said, that when the conversation comes up about how they were raised, fathers are generally not even brought up. So
Hmm.
it's like, but then when they start becoming adults and start talking to each other, that's when they all of a sudden build a connection on, well, let's be resentful towards our mothers because our fathers weren't there, which
Hmm.
is that's the the very disturbing part is like, okay, as soon as we get around other black men and we start talking about our upbringing, we're going to then just blame the person who was actually there and not even try to figure out why the father wasn't there. Because a lot of the times when they do meet their fathers, like when Kelly Rowland met her father,
Hmm.
gave this excuse about not knowing how to be a man and not having male role models and his father not being around and him not realizing the harm that he was causing. It's like you didn't realize, you didn't think about how you felt when you were a kid coming up and your dad wasn't there. What do you mean you didn't realize the harm that you were causing? It's just, well, a lot of times with men, specifically black men, they are giving so many excuses
Hmm.
that black women never get. A black woman can't say, well, I make these poor decisions because my dad wasn't there. And then everybody, surrounds her and says, oh, gives her a hug. You're right. You're right. No, they're gonna say, well, you know what? That's your problem. You need to get counseling for that, and you need to figure it out, because nobody wants to be around a broken person. Because I've heard people say that on the internet, like these black men don't want broken black women who have issues, but yet all of them claim that they have issues.
Hmm. That's extremely interesting. Yeah, I find a lot of the conversations, and again, free speech. You can, again, you have the right to talk about whatever you want, but when you open the door to certain things, it 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 makes you look bad actually, because there's no solutions. The conversation just, it's just a different day on the calendar. She did that, he did this. Same thing. It doesn't matter what side is on. But as far as with the men, this place was dominant in the space with men. So I came in supporting, and I just saw it just going downhill. And I'm so sad to see where it is now. There isn't anything, no structure or anything. There's nothing. And it makes me sad. So I guess maybe I thought too much. I don't know.
No, you're
You
you're
don't see
human.
it.
You're
If you
human.
don't, maybe I guess I thought it can change because it was being talked about. And just like in the real world, women are the ones that back up and help and support guys. Just like if whatever a guy can say bad about a woman, if there was a war, you needed women, didn't matter what color, whatever. Somebody need to cook and bandage up folks and
Right.
do different things. So women were always in the background. Okay, so that's still called support. And I think I thought that if you had women to support, it was going to be a better outcome with whatever the building of was supposed to transpire. But I haven't seen anything, so it just makes me really sad.
And that's normal, because the one thing that black women generally have a lot of is empathy, especially for other people. Black women are very, very empathetic to the plight of other people, especially black men. I mean, we see their plight before our own. We don't even pay attention to the things that are affecting us and the hardships that we have, because we are so invested in helping black men. And that needs to change. Like, we have to stop with nurturing and being the, I call it the big mama, because we know back in the day everybody had a big mama.
Mhm.
So we have to stop being the big mama of the black community. We literally are the big mama for every community. Like, a black woman, a couple black women, like, tried to tear me a new one because I said that trans trans folks were not they were not biological women. And I was on the trans folks page, and they was going in on me. And they didn't realize that they were taking up for a male over me. And I don't think they care, but black women just have a need to put on a cape and steel toe boots and grab a bullhorn to support everybody, and it needs to stop.
Mhm.
I know that it's in our nature to be very nurturing and empathetic people, but at some point we have to, for our own stability, because it's so detrimental that we do that for everybody. Black women are being unalived more than any group of women. We are dying during childbirth more than any group of women. We are impoverished more than any group of women because of the type of men that we have. We have our children are being the children that we are birthing are being unalived in the streets because of the other men, the other boys in the community. We have so much going on against us, and we choose to look at our own issues, our weight, our health, heart disease, breast cancer, so many things that our Black women are affected by, but we are still trying to help Black men in their plight. It's time for them to cut the wings and let them handle their own business. They got to handle their own business.
I hear you.
It's hard to let it go, but it's necessary. Let these men take care of themselves, because in the end, they're on the internet blaming you and me and all the other Black women for coddling them and saying that, oh, we can't be men because the women keep on babying us. Well, they said it loud and clear. Stop babying them.
The end.
The end. That's the whole point. Post. Stop babying these men. Take your nipples out their mouth and stop babying them. If you see them crying out in the street, keep on walking, because they need to figure it out. When Tyre Nichols was being beat, who was he crying out for? If
His
you saw
mother.
this video, he was crying out for his mama. All these men who claim that their fathers would be so active if the mothers just gave them a chance, but when they down and out, the person that they still crying out for is their mamas all the time. Let these men take care of themselves and be men. And it's nothing more. Just let them be men. And those mammy rangers that's all over the internet who think that by forgetting that they themselves are women and that these men are actually talking about them too. I don't know why they think that they're excluded from the conversation, that the men aren't talking about them, because they're talking about you, Crimson Curse, and Danica Marie. They're talking about you too, and they're talking about you too. Was six the 6 foot goddess. They're talking about you too. So I don't know why these women think for some reason if they keep on being mammy rangers and climbing up mammy mountain that these men are going to look at them any different. They don't. They don't. These men are they a lot of them are a lost cause. A lot of them are a lost cause.
Well, I'll answer that question. That's just for income, what that's all about. But
Oh
I
yeah.
hear you.
I think Crimson Curse. I think that hers. I think that a lot of this is no slight against women in religion, but I think she's like a Hebrew Israelite or maybe a Muslim. But a lot of those women are very indoctrinated to be fiercely loyal to the patriarchy and to men in general, especially Black men. They always go. They're gonna always put the man's plight before theirs.
Mm,
But the rest of them is just for money. Yeah. The rest
yeah.
of it is just exactly absolutely for money, especially Pearly Burley one, the Pearly Burley one. Is she? I guarantee she wouldn't even talk to. If she walked down the street, she wouldn't even talk to Black men. That's the big 6 foot something Amazon white girl. I don't know if you
Wow.
saw her before.
Wow. I've seen pictures. I've never heard a podcast or anything.
Yeah, she up to over 1 million subscribers. Most of them are Black men. They've nominated her as their woman king.
Okay. Wow. Woman
She
King.
got nominated over all the Mammy Rangers that been in the space for years, slurping dusty pain.
Well,
But
hey, it's a color thing.
yeah, so thank you, Char Willie. But and I appreciate you coming up. But I'm gonna tell you, I know that it's hard to not be empathetic because that is something that we as Black women are definitely born with. You could be empathetic in the inside, but be strong on the outside. Okay?
Right.
Let these men be men. They it will it's either they either gonna swim or sink.
Well, I hate to see what this boat is gonna look like, but okay.
They're gonna swim or sink. But thank you so much.
And thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, everybody, thank you. Make sure that you're hitting the like button before you're leaving out. Make sure that you sign the petition and that you share it. And everybody, make sure that you go to the subscribe button and hit all so that you're getting all the videos, so that we can always be in sync with each other, because your girl appreciates every last one of you. Thank you again. Hit the like button before you leave. Don't forget to sign the petition. Thanks.